Welcome to BookBuzz Reviews and Summaries. What if your greatest limitation isn't the job you have, the degree you lack, or the reputation you've outgrown, but the story you've been telling yourself about who you are every day? The world is shifting, industries evolve, job titles disappear, and expectations of success are rewritten. In this relentless current of change, clinging to an outdated version of yourself is not just unwise. It's a fast path to irrelevance. The truth is, who you were yesterday doesn't have to define who you become tomorrow. Reinvention isn't a luxury reserved for the lucky or the bold. It's your right, it's your responsibility, and it's entirely within your reach. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing, truly knowing, that you have the power to reshape not only how the world sees you, but how you see yourself, that your past doesn't limit your future, and that every experience, every failure, and every untapped skill is raw material for a brand new identity, one that aligns with your purpose, your potential, and your personal definition of success. This isn't a book about wishful thinking or vague inspiration. This is your blueprint. In the pages ahead, you'll uncover the tools to strategically reimagine your career, authentically communicate your brand, and step into the life you know you're capable of leading, but perhaps have never had the courage to claim, because the truth is, you don't have to wait to be chosen. You can choose yourself right now, right here. So the question isn't, can you reinvent yourself? The real question is, are you ready to stop living someone else's story and start authoring your own? Turn the page. The future version of you is waiting. Reinventing You, Part 1. The Foundation of Reinvention. Title: Who are you, and who do you want to be? It's not just about changing jobs. It's about changing how the world sees you and how you see yourself. Dorie Clark. Chapter 1. The Reinvention Wake-Up Call. Reinvention is not just for the midlife crisis anymore. In this opening section, Dorie Clark sets the stage with a compelling truth. Whether you're stuck in a career rut, recently laid off, or just craving something more meaningful, reinvention is no longer optional. In a rapidly changing world, it's a necessity. Clark tells the story of her own pivot, from a journalist laid off after 9/11 to a communications consultant for global companies. Her transformation wasn't overnight. It was intentional, strategic, and built on the realization that how people perceive you can either be your biggest asset or your greatest liability. She asks the listener, how do people introduce you when you're not in the room? If you're not actively managing your brand, others are doing it for you, and they might be wrong. This is the start of the inner work, and it's where the listener begins the journey of crafting their personal brand. Chapter 2. What's your brand right now? You can't reinvent yourself if you don't know what you're starting with. Clark encourages readers to diagnose their current brand by asking for feedback from trusted peers and colleagues. What do others see as your unique strength? What's your value to your team or industry? Here, Clark introduces a practical and powerful tool, the 360-degree brand review. She recommends reaching out to 5 to 10 people and asking, what are the top 3 things you think I do well? What do you think I could improve? How would you describe me to someone else? It's not always easy hearing the answers, but this honest mirror gives you critical insight. And here's the hook. You can't become who you want to be until you know how others currently see you. This chapter ends on a motivating note. Your brand isn't fixed, it's flexible, adaptable, and yours to shape. Chapter 3. Vision. Who do you want to become? Now comes the powerful turning point. After uncovering your current brand, the question becomes, where do you want to go? Clark insists this isn't about faking a new identity or creating a false persona. It's about amplifying your best self, the version of you that hasn't yet been fully expressed. She suggests creating a future resume, a bold vision document where you write out your dream job title, your ideal skills and experiences, the kind of impact you want to make. This aspirational exercise isn't fantasy, it's strategy. Once you write down who you want to become, you can reverse engineer the steps to get there. Listeners will feel a surge of hope here. Clark's tone is clear. You don't need permission to reinvent, you just need a plan. Chapter 4. Finding your narrative. Tell a better story. Reinvention isn't just about change, it's about narrative. In this chapter, Clark reveals a crucial insight. The most powerful people aren't the ones who change careers. They're the ones who tell great stories about why they changed careers. She introduces the concept of the transition story. When people ask you about your pivot, how will you explain it in a way that sounds coherent, authentic, and exciting? Avoid vague statements like, "I wanted something new." Instead, connect the dots. Show how your past experiences have prepared you for what you're doing next, for example. After years in finance, I realized my true passion was helping entrepreneurs grow their business. The analytical skills I used in banking now help me design efficient, scalable systems for startups. It's not a total departure, it's an evolution, and if you believe in your narrative, others will too. Part 2. Build your platform. Title: From Invisible to Influential, Crafting the Credibility You Need. Reinvention doesn't happen in a vacuum. You need others to believe in the new you, and that starts by earning their trust. Dorie Clark. Chapter 5. Build your skills before you need them. Now that you've defined who you want to become, it's time to build the scaffolding for your new identity. And that starts with skills, Clark warns us. You can't just change your LinkedIn headline and expect to be taken seriously in a new field. You must bridge the gap between aspiration and ability, but here's the trick. You don't need to go back to school or start from scratch. She advises smart strategies like side projects to build real-world experience, volunteering in your desired industry, freelance gigs, or pro bono work to establish credibility. Most importantly, she recommends investing time before you're desperate. Reinvention works best when you proactively build toward it, not when you're forced to pivot by crisis, as Clark says. You don't prepare for battle when the war has already started. Chapter 6. Leverage your points of proof. Once you've started to gain experience, now's the time to publicize your expertise. This isn't about bragging. It's about demonstrating value in a way people can see and trust. Clark introduces the concept of social proof, the external markers that reinforce your credibility. These can be a blog post that showcases your thinking, a talk you gave at a conference, an article you published in an industry journal, testimonials from trusted professionals. You're creating a portfolio of proof that shows people you're not trying to reinvent, you already are. What's key here is consistency and visibility. You don't need to go viral. You just need to show up, often and authentically, in places where your audience is watching. Chapter 7. Thought leadership starts here. Thought leadership might sound intimidating, like something reserved for CEOs and TED Talk speakers, but Clark makes it accessible to anyone. You have something to say. In this chapter, she breaks it down. Thought leadership simply means becoming known for your ideas, and that starts with sharing them. Start a blog, record short videos, host workshops or webinars, contribute to industry discussions on LinkedIn or X, Twitter. She emphasizes the importance of having a point of view. You don't have to be the world's top expert, but you do need to offer insights, frameworks, or lessons learned. Readers will love this takeaway. You don't need permission to be a thought leader. You just need to start thinking out loud. Chapter 8. Become Googleable. Here's a hard truth from Dorie. If you don't show up online, you don't exist. Whether you're switching industries or launching your own business, potential employers, collaborators, or clients are going to Google you, and what they find, or don't, will shape their impression of you. Clark urges readers to take control of their digital presence. Clean up your social media, create a personal website, even a simple one. Make sure your LinkedIn profile reflects your reinvention goals, even if you don't want to be internet famous. You want to be discoverable, trustworthy, and aligned with your future brand. It's not vanity, it's strategy. Part 3. Making the Leap. Title: Ready or Not. It's time to step into the new you. Your new identity won't feel real until you start living it. That's when transformation begins. Dorie Clark. Chapter 9. Small bets, big payoff. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow or rebrand overnight. Clark is adamant. Test your reinvention in small, smart ways. She introduces the idea of strategic sampling, trying on your new identity through manageable experiments. Think of it like test driving a car before buying it. You get to feel out your future without risking everything. Some examples: take on a part-time gig in your target field, launch a pilot version of your dream business, speak at a niche industry event. These small bets reduce the risk of failure and help build your confidence in real time. Each success becomes a stepping stone to bolder moves. This chapter reinforces a key theme. You don't leap blindly, you pivot intentionally. Chapter 10: Confronting Fear and Resistance. Now we dive into the emotional heart of reinvention. Even the most well-planned transition will stir up fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. Clark doesn't sugarcoat it, but she offers tools. She helps listeners identify the gremlins that whisper doubt. You're too old. You don't have the right degree. You're not an expert. Then she dismantles those lies with truth. Most people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for value, reliability, and energy, what you lack in credentials. You can make up for in commitment and curiosity. Clark reminds us, you don't need to be fearless. You just need to act anyway. This chapter often hits listeners deeply. It's where self-doubt meets a solid, encouraging voice that says, you can do this. Chapter 11: Your allies are closer than you think. Reinvention can feel lonely, but it doesn't have to be. Clark devotes this chapter to the importance of building a support network. She categorizes your allies into 3 essential types. 1. Connectors. They know people. They can introduce you to mentors, clients, and collaborators. 2. Believers. They know you. They remind you of your worth when imposter syndrome creeps in. 3. Truth tellers. They give honest feedback. The kind that helps you improve, not just feel good. She also encourages listeners to tap into dormant connections. Old classmates, former colleagues, friends from other circles. You'd be amazed how many people want to help, but they need to know what you're up to first. This is where the reinvention narrative you shaped earlier comes into play. A clear, compelling story makes it easier for others to say, you know who you should talk to. Chapter 12: Taking the Plunge Without Burning Bridges. So you're ready. You've tested, planned, built your credibility, faced your fears. Now, it's time to move. But how do you make the leap while keeping your reputation intact? Clark guides us through a graceful transition strategy. It's not about slamming doors. It's about bridging worlds. She urges listeners to give plenty of notice if leaving a job, document your work to leave others set up for success, express gratitude for opportunities and mentors, because the world is small, and the way you exit a chapter often shapes how people talk about you long after you're gone. She also recommends scripting a few transition sound bites, short, polished ways to explain your move. That way, you control the message and leave others impressed, not confused. This chapter gives listeners the tools to walk into their future with courage, clarity, and class. Part 4: Living the New You. Title: Reinvention is a lifestyle, not a one-time project. Your reinvention isn't the end of the road. It's just the beginning of the life you are meant to live. Dorie Clark. Chapter 13: Keep it fresh, stay relevant, and visible. You've made the leap, you're finally in the game, showing up as your reinvented self, but now comes a new challenge: sustaining momentum. Clark is clear. Success in reinvention isn't just about getting there, it's about staying there and continuing to evolve. You can't afford to become stale. That means constantly learning new trends, skills, tools, creating fresh content, articles, videos, presentations. Continuing to grow your network and visibility. She recommends setting a visibility calendar, a consistent rhythm for staying in the conversation, whether that's weekly LinkedIn posts or quarterly speaking engagements. Visibility must be intentional. The key is to be proactive, not reactive. Reinvent as lead, not follow. Chapter 14: Course correct, adapt when plans shift. Let's be honest. Reinvention doesn't always unfold as expected. Sometimes the path you thought was right leads to a dead end, or what felt exciting 6 months ago now feels like a mismatch. Clark wants you to know that's okay. It's not failure, it's data. This chapter emphasizes the value of course correction. If you discover you've outgrown your original plan, or that your industry is changing, or you simply want something different, you can pivot again. Remember, you're not stuck with the first version of your reinvention. The most successful people Clark profiles are those who stayed flexible, reflective, and brave enough to shift when needed. This idea lands deeply with listeners. It gives them permission to keep evolving without shame. Chapter 15: Own the reinventor's mindset. As we near the end, Clark brings it full circle. Reinvention is not just a career strategy, it's a mindset, a way of seeing yourself as a work in progress, always capable of learning, shifting, and stepping into more authentic alignment. She encourages listeners to regularly assess where they are and where they want to go, ask for feedback from trusted sources, keep a journal of growth moments and insights. Stay open to new influences, mentors, and opportunities. The reinventor's mindset is built on self-awareness, agility, and courage. And here's what makes this book truly empowering. Clark doesn't promise an overnight transformation. She offers something more sustainable, a blueprint for lifelong relevance and fulfillment. Final thoughts. The reinvention journey is yours. Readers, if you've made it this far, you're already on the path. You may be in the dreaming stage, or perhaps you're building your credibility. Maybe you're mid-leap or settling into your new role. Wherever you are, reinventing you reminds you, you are not defined by your past. Your story is still being written, and you have the power, today, to step into a future that excites you. Reinvention is about intentional evolution. It's about refusing to settle for someone else's definition of your life. As Dorie Clark beautifully puts it, don't let others define your brand. Define it for yourself, and then live it fully. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.